Indonesia recently found itself at the center of a high-stakes negotiation with the United States, one that revealed how modern trade talks now stretch far beyond tariffs and market access. Washington reportedly offered to reduce tariffs on Indonesian goods from 32% to around 19%, a move that would significantly benefit Jakarta's export economy. In return, the United States sought broader cooperation. While some demands were negotiable, one request crossed a clear boundary for Indonesia, exposing the tensions between economic incentives and national sovereignty. That red line emerged when US officials reportedly urged Indonesia to purchase American surveillance drones for use in operations in the South China Sea. Indonesian leaders firmly rejected the proposal, citing constitutional constraints and concerns over sovereignty. Officials argued that accepting such a condition would violate domestic law and undermine the country's independent defense posture. This refusal was not simply a procurement decision but a political signal that Indonesia would not trade strategic autonomy for economic concessions, regardless of how attractive tariff reductions might appear. Even as negotiations moved closer to a broader trade agreement, Indonesian officials made it clear that certain principles were non-negotiable. They emphasized that foreign defense equipment tied to geopolitical surveillance could compromise Indonesia's neutral stance in regional disputes. The South China Sea remains one of Asia's most sensitive flashpoints, and Jakarta has long insisted on avoiding alignment with any single major power. By rejecting the drone demand, Indonesia reaffirmed its commitment to constitutional limits and national decision-making authority. The timing of Indonesia's decision is particularly significant. Indonesia is among the newest members of the expanded BRICS bloc, a grouping that increasingly presents itself as an alternative center of global power outside the traditional US-led economic system. Membership in BRICS has brought not only economic opportunities but also political expectations. The drone refusal suggests that joining BRICS may be emboldening member states to assert greater strategic independence in their dealings with Washington and other Western powers. This episode highlights how Indonesia's foreign policy is evolving in a more multipolar world. Rather than choosing sides, Jakarta appears determined to maximize economic benefits while resisting pressures that compromise sovereignty. The refusal to accept US surveillance drone sends a broader message that trade deals will not override constitutional values. It also suggests that Indonesia's participation in BRICS is not symbolic but may be shaping concrete policy decisions on security, diplomacy, and economic alignment. As Indonesia pushes back against Washington on security demands, the broader BRICS bloc is advancing initiatives with potentially far greater global consequences. Chief among them is money. Just weeks earlier, Brazil's ambassador to Russia confirmed that discussions around a dedicated BRICS payment mechanism are no longer theoretical. These talks are active, ongoing, and increasingly central to the bloc's long-term strategy. The aim is to reshape how member countries conduct cross-border trade and financial settlements. At the core of these discussions lies a clear objective, reducing reliance on the US dollar. For decades, the dollar has dominated global trade, giving Washington enormous financial leverage. BRICS countries argue that the system exposes them to political pressure, sanctions, and financial instability. By creating alternative payment systems, the bloc hopes to insulate its members from external shocks and reclaim greater control over their economic destinies in an increasingly fragmented global economy. This ambition has not gone unnoticed in Washington. Efforts to challenge dollar dominance have already triggered sharp reactions from US political figures, including former President Donald Trump. Critics in the United States wanted alternative payment systems could weaken American influence and disrupt existing financial structures. Supporters within BRICS counter that diversification is necessary for global stability and fairness. The clash underscores how currency power has become a frontline issue in modern geopolitics. Indonesia's stance on surveillance drones illustrates how these financial and security battles are deeply intertwined. Trade negotiations are no longer confined to tariffs, quotas, and imports. They now encompass surveillance technology, data access, currency systems, and geopolitical alignment. What once appeared as isolated policy debates are now interconnected struggles over influence, autonomy, and the future structure of global power. Against this backdrop, diplomatic activity across Asia and Eurasia continues to intensify. Officials speak of joint leadership, evolving relations, and adapting to international changes. Meetings, committees, and strategic dialogue signal that major powers are recalibrating their partnerships in response to shifting global dynamics. These engagements reflect an understanding that the international order is no longer static and that cooperation must adapt to new economic and political realities. Economic assessments further reinforce the sense of transformation underway. According to recent evaluations by major financial institutions, Russia has emerged as the world's fourth largest economy by certain measures. Such rankings are often debated, but they contribute to a broader narrative that traditional economic hierarchies are changing. For BRICS members, this development strengthened the argument that alternative power centers are viable and increasingly influential. At the same time, global discourse remains fragmented and often contradictory. Analysts, policymakers, and commentators struggle to interpret rapidly evolving events. Accusations, condemnations, and ideological clashes dominate headlines, particularly in the United States. Beneath the noise, however, financial and strategic realignments continue quietly but steadily. These shifts may ultimately have a greater impact than public rhetoric or short-term political disputes. Questions about leadership, missions, and global responsibility continue to surface. Presidents and senior officials travel abroad, signaling commitments while testing alliances. Behind closed doors, negotiations focus less on ideology and more on practical outcomes. Economic resilience, access to markets, and strategic security increasingly drive decisions, even as public narratives emphasize values and principles. Some developments may appear abstract or disconnected, but together they reveal a broader pattern. Infrastructure projects move forward, financial doors open, and new mechanisms take shape. Countries prepare for future shocks by diversifying partnerships and reducing dependence on any single system. The world economy, anchored firmly in one dominant framework, is gradually becoming more decentralized, and policy institutions are being encouraged to deepen research and coordination. Governments recognize that sound policy must be backed by rigorous analysis. Cooperation between nations, especially within BRICS, increasingly includes joint research, shared data, and coordinated macroeconomic planning aimed at long-term stability rather than short-term gains. China and Russia, in particular, emphasize the resilience of their relationship. Officials highlight how their partnership has withstood global upheavals, focusing on good neighborliness, strategic coordination, and mutual benefit. This narrative reinforces the idea that durable alliances are built on shared interests rather than temporary alignments, a principle that resonates strongly within the broader BRICS framework. Financial cooperation between major economies is deepening, with calls to strengthen macroeconomic policy coordination. Leaders argue that synchronized strategies can boost development, stabilize growth, and inject new momentum into the global economy. Institutions such as major banks and multilateral forums are positioning themselves as platforms for this cooperation, signaling a shift toward more inclusive economic governance. As preparations for future international summits continue, countries emphasize their willingness to collaborate across regions. Initiatives linked to Asia-Pacific development, global trade stability, and economic revitalization suggest that competition does not exclude cooperation. Even as rival systems emerge, shared challenges such as growth, inflation, and financial volatility demand collective responses. Ultimately, this latest round of dialogue and negotiation reflects a world in transition. From Indonesia's refusal to compromise sovereignty, to BRICS' push for financial alternatives, the global order is being quietly reshaped. These developments do not signal the collapse of existing systems but rather their gradual evolution. The success of recent talks suggests that, despite tensions, diplomacy and cooperation remain possible in an increasingly multipolar world.